What's up, guys? This is the Honest Outlaw here, and today we're going to be doing a pretty interesting review. We're going to be talking about the Canik TP9 Elite. This is the smaller framed version of the Canik that I reviewed a couple of months ago. There's a couple differences, but we'll get into that in a second. One of the reasons why I'm so excited about it is because of the size. I actually prefer this size of pistol over some larger frame counterparts, so it makes it easier for you to shoot at the range and still be able to carry it. It's that nice little Glock 19 size that's so popular with everybody, and like I said, there's a reason for it. It's just small enough to carry and it's big enough to fight with, so it fills a lot of niches. And if you're the kind of person that only owns 1 or 2 or 3 firearms, it's a great choice because it covers a lot of bases. First thing I want to talk about with this pistol is it's kind of an ambitious design for Canik, honestly. They're pretty well known for their budget pistols, the Canik TP9, the SA, the V2, and there's a couple different other versions of it. But basically what they're known for is making reasonably priced, $400 and under pistols that work really well, that basically work as well as some more expensive pistols like the M&P or the PPQ. With this pistol, they added a lot more features than they normally do. Right off the bat, as you can see here, this pistol comes with fiber optic front, with a fiber optic front and a black rear sight. This kind of the standard competition sights these days, and that's because they're really easy to pick up and they're just a great sight picture. To me, that is a definite upgrade from the common sights you get with normal pistols. For a carry gun, kind of what this is designed for, I think I would prefer night sights, but I would still prefer the fiber optic over regular sights. Yes, fiber optic sights can break, but if they break, they just turn into regular sights. It's no big deal. Another thing they did was they gave it a real two-tone finish to it. As you can see there, it's got this black and this tungsten gray. That is not common in the gun world, and it looks really good in my opinion, especially from a factory firearm. It's also got the little red bar there. I think the trigger is supposed to be advanced as well from the previous models, but spoiler alert, it feels about the same to me. And we'll get a little bit more into that later. It's also got a interchangeable back straps. It's got decent stippling on it. It's got a full Picatinny rail, and it's got a loaded cocking indicator. This firearm doesn't have any safety because other than your finger and the holster, you don't need one. That's my personal opinion. The takedown levers are nice and big, so you can get a hold of them when you're taking down the pistol. Takedown is relatively easy as well. So basically, I said earlier that this pistol is, Glock 19 PPQ sized. It's roughly got a 4-inch barrel. I should have checked that, but I didn't. And it weighs right around 25 ounces. Yep, 1.57 pounds. That's a little heavier than the Glock 19, around the same as the PPQ. Now, if you look really close here, a little size comparison, as you can see there, the Glock 19 is actually a little bit smaller. As you can see there, I have a mag well on this. But the Canik pistol is actually a very similar size to the Walther PPQ. To me, they're almost identical. Identical in a lot of features as well. Both of these pistols have features that the Glock 19 doesn't have, like these forward cocking serrations, for example. So that makes this kind of a unique little pistol. This comes to market right around $400, I believe. I got this for right around $400, $429 or something, but I got it right when it was released. Prices definitely will go down. You might even be able to see some of these in the used market between $300 and $350 at some point, which makes it a really good buy if it holds up to the track record of the previous Caniks. I've seen a couple reviews on this pistol from big gun site or from big gun tubers and some stuff like that. I've also seen some articles put out about this pistol as well. And one of the reasons why I started my channel is to kind of, I guess, give you the truth about what I think about a firearm. No matter how good a firearm may appear to be, especially if it's getting reviewed by people who were paid to do it, I purchased this pistol out of my own pocket, and I can tell you for a fact that it was not as reliable as I anticipated. I shot this more than I would normally even shoot a pistol to review because I wanted to give it the opportunity to break itself in. I didn't get this pistol very long ago, and I really wanted to rush the review, but I didn't want to rush the results. So instead of shooting it over a period of a couple of months, I usually take, several months at least to do a review. I tried to pack all that into basically about a week's worth of shooting. And out of all the ammunition we shot, the majority, as usual, was Freedom Munitions 147 grain. We also shot American Eagle 115, some Blazer brass. I think this is brass. Well, we shot Blazer. This is not the box of ammo that we shot, but we shot Blazer, and we also shot some Winchester white box. And out of that, it wasn't, again, very spectacular. We had maybe, let's say out of 500 rounds, I bet we had 15 malfunctions. Some were shooter-induced, some were ammunition-induced, and some I would just have to blame on either the cold or the gun. One of the problems with testing in Iowa is that we put it through a gauntlet of weather, basically. We shoot in rain, snow, sun, extreme hot. It gets 120 degrees here in the summer, and it gets negative 30 in the winter. And we were shooting in temperatures ranging from 30 degrees to about, I guess today it was negative 20. So cold does affect firearms, especially semi-automatic firearms, so give it a little bit of the benefit of doubt there. And the other thing is that Freedom Munitions 147 grain is a reloaded, remanufactured ammunition, and it's manufactured to basically barely meet the power factor for competition. So it's not a high-pressure round by any means. However, the American Eagle, Winchester, Blazer, and I even shot some Hornady Critical Defense through this. It didn't malfunction with the Hornady Critical Defense, by the way. But they are standard pressure rounds, and it still choked on a few of those as well. I wouldn't feel good about the review unless I told you that, and I'll show you some of the footage as well as I'm talking about it. Other than reliability, which is probably my most important category for the pistol, it did amazing. Couple of things I want to comment on, though, is it again is from Turkey, so it's not American made. That's kind of an issue for some people. As far as the ergonomics go, it has a really good trigger. I mentioned that I don't think it's an improvement from the previous, but that doesn't mean it's not good. The trigger is amazing. The accuracy was phenomenal. The first time I shot it at 75 yards, and I was getting hits, and I'm not the world's best shooter. Like, I'm certainly no Taron Butler or anything like that. So 75 yards for me, especially with a compact frame pistol, is pretty incredible. And again, that's due to the great trigger and great sights. That's what makes a pistol accurate. The removable back straps is a nice feature, but I don't like the roll pin. You have to take a roll pin punch, punch this out, change your back strap, make sure it's great, because once you punch it back in, it's not as easy as, let's say, the Glock system. I guess is relatively the same, but some other systems are easier than the roll pin design. I just don't like the roll pin. It feels really good in the hand. The ergonomics are fine. I wish it had more texture, but I say that about everything. If you look at some of the competitors on the table, you'll see that none of them have enough texture for me. It's got a pick rail, which I prefer better than the standard Glock accessory rail. It has a loaded cocking indicator in the rear. I don't care for that personally, but a lot of people like that, so it's a good feature either way. I think for me, the only thing it does is slightly distract me while I'm shooting. Other than that, I don't really need one. It has a milled slide with the front side crocking serrations that I really, really like. It's a sharp looking pistol because of it too. I actually prefer when the sides of the slide that don't need to be there are milled down, unlike the Glock where it's a little more blocky. I also prefer the front side cocking serrations because I just like to use them and I think they look cool. As I said before, I think the trigger is amazing. I wouldn't say amazing, I guess. It's on par with the SIG 320, I would think. I think the PPQ is still a little bit better, but the trigger's pretty good. It's definitely better than a stock Glock M&P or XD. Some problems that you're going to run into with this pistol besides reliability, and honestly, I saw one major malfunction, which is basically a double feed, something where you have to lock the slide to the rear, drop the magazine, strip the rounds, put the magazine back in, tap and rack won't fix. Other than that, all we had was basically failures to eject the empty case. The empty case kept getting caught right in the top of the chamber there. I also had some seriously erratic ejection. Basically what that means is how the shells shoot out of the chamber once you're done. And sometimes they would go an inch away from the pistol, sometimes they would shoot at me while I was hitting, sometimes they would fly 3 feet in the air. So maybe it's because this is one of the first generations of this pistol to come out. Maybe they'll fix that problem in the future. But as I said, none of the malfunctions we had were serious. They were something I could just strip the round off the top of the pistol or just re-rack the slide. The only serious malfunction we had that was induced was, I believe, due to limp wristing. Now that was something I really wanted to talk about because out of the people that we had shoot this, any of the non-experienced shooters we had shoot this made it basically limp wrist and caused the malfunction. My wife had this pistol. She only shot a couple of magazines out of it, but during one of the magazines, she had the double feed. So you really have to watch that and make sure you put a lot of pressure toward it. You'll see in the footage after that, I fixed the malfunction for her, reloaded the same magazine with the same ammunition, and fired all the rounds without a hiccup. So that might be shooter error, who knows. And pistols can be individuals, and I might have just got a bad one. All the rest of them might be great. So don't take my word for that, because again, if you look at other videos on YouTube, you'll find that they ran perfectly, apparently. So I might be the only one. Who knows? Again, it might be the cold as well. If it was reliable, it would work really good for a truck gun. I stated that in the last video. Some of the problems we had besides reliability were it's a little snappy. It's about Glock 19 recoil. I shot it next to the M&P, which is why the M&P has some pretty low recoil for a pistol its size. Erratic ejection, it wasn't textured enough, and the holster that comes with it, although a nice touch, I have to admit, and I'd rather have a bad holster than no holster at all. This holster does kind of suck. If you keep this pistol, you're probably going to want to get a better holster. It's not very comfortable for some reason. I don't know. It seems a little bit more rounded than it should be. When I was sitting in my truck with it, it ended up hurting my love handles there. Also, I really don't like the Serpa style configuration of holster. I just really don't, because sometimes you'll be in a hurry and grab your pistol and it won't come out and your holster will come out with it. It's a nightmare. So I prefer a regular style holster, but it's nice that they came with it. All in all, from this pistol, is the only thing I can draw my experiences from. I would have to give this a 7 out of 10 for reliability problems. Everything else is excellent, but everything else pales in comparison to working correctly, right? If it worked better, it would be amazing. If you get one and it works great, it would be amazing for you. Please like and subscribe. If you like the video, please help out your local homeless shelters, and remember to recycle. Check you later.